What's going on, Spurs fans? Spurs Nation 87. We are live here, the comfort of the Spurs Nation cave. I was supposed to do a video with y'all with the Spurs and the Warriors, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Well, it was kind of disappointing because most of the team didn't play. Kawhi Leonard didn't play. Aldridge couldn't play because of heart complications. Tony Parker didn't play. But then again, the Warriors sat out most of their main stars, which was Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, who's pretty much a system player, and Andre Iguodala. And Durant is still out with I think it was a knee injury. But Spurs get a big win, a much-needed win against the Memphis Grizzlies tonight at the AT&T Center. Before I get what I'm about to say, let's go over some stats real quick. So the final score was 97-90, Spurs over the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies out-rebounded the Spurs 42-35. Spurs had more assists against the Grizzlies, 26-18. The Spurs pretty much outperformed them in defense. 5 blocks to the Grizzlies, 4 blocks. 6 steals to the Grizzlies, 6 steals. Spurs were 37 of 77, while the Grizzlies were 34 of 78. Free throws, Spurs 15 out of 23. And Grizzlies 12 out of 15. 3-pointers made for the Spurs were 8 out of 26 attempts. That's not good at all. Not good. This is a potential first-round matchup. So the Spurs have got to do a much better job, shooting more confidently at the 3-point spot. But then again, we got to understand this is a tough defensive Grizzlies team. They're not the only main part of them that's actually good at offense is pretty much Conley. I mean, he's improved a lot more. Gasol, Mark Gasol, and we gotta keep Zach Randolph out of his rhythm too. We gotta keep the 3 main guys out of that rhythm. We can keep him out of the rhythm. The Spurs can beat him in 6 games. Spurs only committed 6 turnovers. That's pretty good. They keep those turnovers to a minimum. But and I've said this so many times before. Turnovers are very, very costly. They can cost you the game. They can even cost you the series, depending on which round you're in and which team you're playing. Turnovers are a main issue, but not for tonight. Spurs only turned it over 6 times. Spurs forced the Grizzlies 13 turnovers. And you know what? The Spurs have beaten every team this season except the Knicks. The Knicks are the one team the Spurs need to beat, and they need to beat them this Saturday. So there's no excuse. This Saturday, the Spurs need to get it done. They need to beat the next team. So now I'm going to go over some player stats or who is the main scorer for the team. Sorry here. Kawhi Leonard, our runner-up for MVP, 19 points, 7 rebounds. Excuse me. Aldridge, who has been phenomenal the past couple of games, 23 points, 8 rebounds. Parker with 13 points. Let me see. Mills with 15. Everyone else scored under 10. Green, Deadman, Pau Gasol, David Lee, Manu Ginobili. But Simmons was the only one who didn't score. Bertans Anderson and Forbes did not play. As for the Grizzlies, Mike Conley had 22 points. Gasol had 13. Wow, they did a really good job on Randolph. He only had 8 points tonight. So if they can at least keep him out of the game, they can win this series. But they really need to do a much better job on Mike Conley. He's a deadly scorer, and he's getting better, and he's improving. Guys, like I said, this is a potential first-round matchup. The Spurs defense really needs to match up a lot more better to the Grizzlies offense. The Grizzlies defense. This is a tough defensive Grizzlies team. They're not a great offensive scoring team. They are a much better threat at defense. So somehow, some way, this Spurs team has got to make that Grizzlies defense work hard. They gotta wear them down with ball movement. Somehow they gotta sucker in the Grizzlies defense. They gotta sucker them in somehow. And especially to get the shots that the Spurs really need. Whether if it's a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer. We've got players who can spread the floor. Danny Green, Patty Mills, Kawhi Leonard, who's developed a lot more better at the 3-point shot. Pau Gasol, who's been absolutely phenomenal ever since coming off the bench. Since coming off the bench, he has been absolutely amazing. He gives that spark to the Spurs bench coming off of it. Along with Manu Ginobili and Patty Mills. And David Lee. So somehow the Spurs got to sucker in the Grizzlies defense. If somehow they can outplay the Grizzlies defense and they can outsmart them in any way possible and anyhow or any way they can do it, it won't be much of a problem. But this Grizzlies team is tough. They are very, very tough. They're very physical. Tonight was a really good game. There should have been no excuse as to why, the Spurs have already lost 2 games to the Grizzlies. But like I said, they got the depth. They're tough. They're a good defensive team. I'll give them that. They're tough. But the Spurs have to be tougher. The Spurs have to outplay them. They have to outdo them any way possible in order to beat them in a 7-game series. If they can't beat the Grizzlies, and if they don't, there's no excuse possible. No excuse at all. The Spurs team needs to match up to the Grizzlies' defensive energy. The Grizzlies are the main issue for the Spurs in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough... That's going to be a test. When that Grizzlies team is healthy, they're dangerous. But of course, when they all fall apart with injuries, like I said, and I'm saying this right now, I never ever wish injuries on a team or players, no matter how much I despise them. I never ever wish bad or wish any type of injury on a player or on a team for a team's player ever. Never been like that. Never will be. But tonight, this was a game that the Spurs needed to win, because the Grizzlies would have been already 3-0 on the Spurs. That wouldn't have been good, because that's showing right there that the Grizzlies have a much higher chance than the Spurs to win a 7-game series. So somehow, if the Spurs do meet with the Grizzlies in the first round, they're going to have some serious work to do, especially against the Grizzlies. They got serious work to do. They're going to have to find a way to wear out the defense You know, especially for ball movement, and they gotta be careful on how the way they move the ball. You know, the ball movement was great tonight. You know, I love that the Spurs hung tough in there, and they played that 48 minutes. So it was a tough game. No doubt. The Spurs improved to 55-16 on the NBA season. They're only 5 games away from winning number 60. And when the times when they've won 60 games, they've won 2 championships, which was in the 2002-2003 season and the 2013-2014 season. Those were the only 2 times when the Spurs won championships. They can do it this year, but health is the most important thing in this Spurs team. They need to keep healthy. They're not healthy, they're not going nowhere. But it's just for them just to step up and do the best they can do. They don't keep healthy, they're not going to go far. So health is the main important issue. There's a main important thing with the Spurs ball club. So this Saturday against the Knicks, it's going to be another one of those games. Spurs have got to win this game Saturday. It's a must win. No excuses whatsoever. I guess last time the Spurs just took them for granted, and I guess pretty much that's how the Knicks beat the Spurs. So no excuses. This Spurs team needs to take this Knicks team seriously, no matter how bad they are. No matter how disgraceful of a team they are. No matter how sorry of a team they are. I've already said this plenty of times. Never take a team for granted. Never take them lightly, because they will capitalize on you in any way and every way possible. Especially to embarrass you. And that happened before. Hopefully now the Spurs will wake up and pay more attention this time. So I want to send shoutouts to all of my viewers. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you. I really do appreciate you guys. And I want to send a shout out to everyone on Facebook. Everyone. I mean, I know it's a lot of shout outs to give out, but you know who you are, and you know who the main ones I give shout outs to. So shout outs to everyone on Facebook. Shout outs to everyone on my Spurs Nation fan page, on the Silver and Black fan page, on my the U-Day page, the Spurs Fair page, and every single Spurs group. All the Spurs groups. Big shout out to all of the Spurs groups. Every Spurs group is number 1. Just like you guys here on my YouTube channel who have subscribed are number 1. All Spurs fans are number 1. There's no number 2, there's number 3. Every Spurs fan is number 1. Always. Alright guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. If I don't see y'all or talk with y'all Saturday, Monday, for sure. Because our Spurs take on the Cavaliers and the bum, James. So I'll be talking to you guys, if not Saturday, then I will be talking to y'all Monday for sure. Till then guys, go Spurs go!